And we're back. Welcome to my preview and prediction for the second quarter-final of the Women's Euros taking place tomorrow. If you want to look at my preview and prediction for today's quarter-final, you can do so by clicking the link at the top of your screen right now. And as always, if you haven't done so already, please do consider dropping a like on this video. If you enjoy all of my prediction series, share it with a friend. Subscribe with notifications turned on so you are ready for the start of the brand new season, which is just 4 weeks away now. And if you want to gain additional perks for this channel, including access to additional predictions over on the community page, you can do so by clicking the join button at the bottom of your screen to become a member of the channel. Now, for today, we can skip straight up to the prediction because there obviously has been no games since yesterday's video, so the results and the scores stay the same. And oh my word, what a mouth-watering game we have got for you tomorrow. It is Sweden taking on England. Now, what is really bizarre about this is I could almost give an identical preview for this fixture as I did with yesterday's one. You've got Sweden as the group winners, England as the runners-up, Sweden winning all of their group matches, England losing one of their matches. However, if you look with the bookmakers, England are considered the favourites for this match. So the question once again remains, why is it we're looking at the runners-up as the favourites for this fixture over the team that actually won all their matches in their group? Well, the reasons are very, very similar, hence why I said I could almost give an identical reason. England were in by far the most difficult group, containing France and the Netherlands. Sweden's only real competition in their group was Germany, but to be fair to them, they did beat Germany. More on that shortly. In terms of actually how these teams got here, Sweden beat Denmark 1-0, Poland 3-0, and then Germany 4-1. England lost 2-1 to France, but then bounced back with an impressive 4-0 win over Holland and a 6-1 win over Wales. Furthermore, one of the other reasons why they are considered the favourites is because they're defending champions and they are higher in the world rankings than Sweden. That said, unlike yesterday, the gap between those two sides in the world rankings is a lot tighter. England are 5th in the world rankings, Sweden are 6th in the world rankings. And it's on those world ranking points where we can start to sort of draw why I think Sweden possibly should be considered the favourites for this over England, and it does centre around England's loss and Sweden's big win over Germany. France are ranked 10th in the world right now, but are in theory having a very good time of things at the moment. England lost to them 2-1. But France are ranked 10th in the world rankings. Germany are ranked 3rd. Sweden beat them 4-1. And I know people are going to look at that game and go, well, hang on a minute, the Germans did have a player sent off. Sweden were 2-0 up already before the red card. And the red card resulted in a penalty, which Sweden scored to make it 3-0. So essentially, whether or not they got a red card for that penalty decision, Sweden would have been 3-0 up against 11 players anyway. That is a hell of a statement result for this Sweden side. They are a very, very good team. They are an incredible run of form. They are 15 games unbeaten and haven't lost in over a year. That is how good Sweden are at the moment. England, on the other hand, came into this tournament not on a very good run of form. They were struggling to beat the big teams in and around them, and they weren't getting the results. That was obviously put right with that 4-0 win over the Netherlands last week, and that, as an England fan, does fill me with a bit more confidence going into this game. But it has to be said, that result from Sweden against Germany puts the rest of the competition on notice, especially us, because obviously we are the team that's got to play them tomorrow, and it is genuinely something that needs to be considered an issue to be addressed. If they can beat Germany 4-1, they can absolutely beat England. As for the team news coming in to this match then, what it has to be also noted is that Sweden have been rotating their players game on game. There are some players that have played every single game so far, but they rotated again for that Germany game, did leave a couple of their usual starters out of that lineup, which just makes that result even more impressive. And obviously because they were 3-0 up at half-time against 10 men, 10 women, should I say, my apologies, they were then able to make further changes, resting more of their key players ahead of these knockout stages. England, of course, did also rotate out once they got ahead against Wales, exactly how I predicted it would go. England went 4-0 up before half-time and were able to take off some of their key players early on in the second half. So the great news is, from an entertainment perspective, is both teams have got no fresh injury concerns, no fresh suspension concerns, and we're just happy to go at it with all guns blazing from both sides, which is fantastic. England team, pretty damn obvious. they're just going to pick the exact same starting lineup they did for the last 2 matches, exactly as Serena Wiegmann did on England's run to winning the Euros 3 years ago. Sweden, it'll be interesting to see. Will they go for the exact same starting 11 against Germany, or will they rotate a couple of other players back in that they rotated out for that Germany game? It remains to be seen. The core of their team has remained pretty much the same throughout, so I would expect that to be the same. And also what's really interesting about this is a lot of the Swedish players are actually based in England. They obviously have the Champions League winning goal scorer in Blackstenius from Arsenal leading the line for them. They have a few Chelsea players in their team as well. Obviously the Premier League champions for the 6th time in a row, I believe. Might have been the 5th time in a row. But they have got a lot of talented players from the Women's Premier League in their side. So there's going to be a lot of familiar faces coming up against the England girls in this match. It's going to be a very, very interesting one. Final thing to note, where I go back to what I said about how this prediction could have been done very, very similarly to yesterday's. As with yesterday, both of these sides were in the same qualification group for this competition. And as with yesterday's prediction, the side that finished runner-up in their group in the final one actually were the side that performed better in qualification. England finished above Sweden, which meant England automatically qualified for this competition. Sweden had to get here through the playoffs route, which obviously they did, and look how well they've done since. But incredibly, exactly like with yesterday's preview, both of these sides, when they came up against each other, resulted in draws, and it was the same score lines as well. 1-1 and 0-0. So there is very, very little to split between these two sides. And I'll just reiterate one last time before I actually show you my prediction. Sweden, unbeaten in 15, which started with the 0-0 draw against England in the qualification process. That's how long it's been. It has literally been over a year, and they've won their last 5 matches in a row, only conceding twice in those last 5, whereas England have come into this on a very poor run of form. However, I am English. I really like the team that we've built over the last couple of weeks. I think the improvements we've shown since Ella Toon got back into the side have made a massive difference into why we beat the Dutch 4-0. And I think that result against the Dutch is as impressive as Sweden's 4-1 win over Germany. So hopefully the quality of the England players will be enough to get the Swedish down. But this is what I'm saying. I'm saying this as an England fan saying hopefully. I'm not saying this with any confidence. I do still think player for player, England are the better side, but this Sweden team is playing some fantastic, fantastic stuff at the moment. They are more than capable of getting the result here, and like I said, in my head, you could definitely argue that Sweden are even the favourites for this match. However, I have to look at the quality of the players we've got. I have to look at how well we've played over the last couple of games, and I have to look at the fact that I'm an England fan. I wouldn't dare ever go against England unless I genuinely thought they were going to lose. So I am going to go for a 2-1 victory to England, but I could definitely see this one going to extra time and penalties. I could definitely see Sweden winning this game in 90 minutes. There is no genuine reason why Sweden cannot win this match. It is going to be two sides at the top of their game playing some fantastic football. Someone's got to go out though, and I think Sweden are going out, and I think England are going to get the job done. Come on, the Lionesses. Don't let me down. As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Are Sweden going to be too much for England? Or can the performances over the last 2 weeks be enough to stop what is an incredibly in-form Swedish side? Like I say, let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I'll be back tomorrow morning, my preview and prediction for the next game in the quarterfinals of the Women's Euros. I'll see you there.